We're live with your GMFL podcast, episode 5. It's Thursday nights, or technically Friday morning for you East Coasters. We're in week 6 now of season 2, with Hubie as always. And we're going to kick it off with your players, your Coors Light Silver Bullet Players of the Week. And well, obviously Boss dominated. I mean, it was a 73-38 game, so I wouldn't be surprised if his guys were going to show up on the board.
You'd almost say suspension worthy.
Maybe. I've heard around the rumor mill that happened.
Rumors. Yeah, look at Skandrick too. He had two INT returns, 2 pick sixes. And we talked about this before. Skandrick is underrated in Madden as a cornerback.
Which I keep forgetting to bring him up. We'll jump in him real quick after we jump out of these players of the week, because he is very underrated.
He's got a good stat line there. Obviously Elliott, and it is so make or break. We've seen all season for Boss so far.
It is
all 6 weeks that we've been playing, but he's either 19 carries for 20 yards, or he's 19 carries for 207 yards, something like that. Look, and you can see right here, and he catches the ball well too. I mean, if anybody actually watched his pro day in real life, you saw he's got hands, and it equivalates to Madden.
Oh, Zeke's a playmaker. Period. He's a 3-down back. I mean, he blocks well. He does everything well in real life, and
with an offensive line to boot.
Oh yeah. It's insane. We'll drop down to the AFC, and I mean, look at his counterpart. I mean, now this is a dude who's been beasting all season. It's neck and neck with Henry and him, but this guy is just, I mean, and he's a rookie at that, and he's on fire, man. 18 for 191, 3 touchdowns, a couple catches too. So yeah.
And then you got this is one of the better games we watched was that Texans Colts game. We'll talk about that a lot more. But he had a nice pick 6 that gave the Texans the lead. And for a while you thought, hey man, that's going to be the score right there. But man,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was a good game. A lot of turnovers early in that game, and then things kind of in the offensive step forward in the second half.
That first half was ugly.
Yeah, it was brutal there for a bit. All right, we're going to jump over. Let's go look at Skandrick real quick, because I've been wanting to touch on this guy, and I keep forgetting. I mention it, and then we get doing something. So let's see. Cowboys. Skandrick, he's 30. So you're going to have some speed regression, which still won't be bad. You're probably looking at 88 speed, 89 excel next season. But look at that coverage. 93 man, 87 zone, 82 play rec, 84 press. I mean, and they rank him on here as the number 11 corner. I mean, but he's a top 10 corner in Madden.
73 catch.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, and I don't think if you told guys, hey, list off your top 15 DBs in Madden, Skandrick's not going to be in there. Skandrick's probably ain't going to make it in there. So,
I mean, when you think of Skandrick, I mean, before at least for myself, I always thought of he's a decent slot guy.
Yeah, maybe a number 2, a number 2, but on here they got him as a top flight number 1. So,
and he pairs really well with Byron Jones, because Byron Jones is a beast too. He can tackle. I know
he is. Boss, if you're watching this, hit me in the DMs. We can talk about Byron. All right.
No, yeah, like you need more secondary. Yeah.
Hey man, you never have enough secondary.
Trade committee, if you're watching and you see this come up, you know what to do. we call it audible.
Call it audible. Veto. Okay, let's roll into our league schedule here. We'll go back to week 5, because we're in week 6 now.
It was a good week. Oh, look at that first one.
And that's the game right off the bat. We just mentioned with Hal in the players of the week. 37-36. I mean, we can look. Indy was up 17-8 at half. I mean, that first half was 11 turnovers. And you probably had, I swear, you had 8 or 9 in the first half. It felt like so. Yep. But then Houston jumps out in the second half, and then it was just he got ahead even early in the fourth. But Dustin again. I mean, he's the comeback kid here.
it was really whoever had the ball last, and I mean it was right at one after another, and then at one point, Dustin, the Texans scored. Dustin ran a kickback for a touchdown. It got called back. He ends up scoring on that drive. DeAndre Hopkins scores on one play the next drive.
And does he run it back again?
Play,
yeah.
He ran it back for a touchdown again.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I watched most of that game. I was able to catch most of it. I was probably watching it while I was driving down the freeway. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of people tuned in. That was pretty cool to see. It was a mid-afternoon game, kind of one of those day breakers. Hey, I'm on a break right now. Let me check this game out. Man, if you checked it out, you got a treat because it was a really good game.
First half made you sick to your stomach, but then that second half, I mean, you were shooting off fireworks and things were good. So
you look at question how we let this guy win the Super Bowl is what it made me question.
And he's at what, I think 1-4 right now. He hasn't. I don't think he's played his Week 6 game. So you've got the defending Super Bowl champion. Now one of them was a sim, but he's 1-3 record-wise, I think, when he's played so far. So it's been a rough year. You look at the run game. I mean, Murray 22 for 86, nothing fancy, but he did pound the ball.
But
Miller,
he committed every time.
Mm-hmm.
His two losses. I mean, one of his losses he ran the ball really well, but his other loss, he got stuffed and then he just quit running the ball. We talked about this before we played the game. I said, hey man, you got to commit to the run, and he said no matter what happens, no matter how many times he gets stuffed, he's going to commit. And he did. He ran the ball, and he was running the ball on some plays that you really didn't see coming. It was second and long, and you think Dustin, you say, here comes a pass. I see it coming.
Yeah.
He ran some trickeration. He had some good runs. I was really impressed.
Well, we've talked about that, and that's no secret. I mean, we've talked about it in the other podcasts, on the show, period. In this Madden, I feel you gotta run the ball. I mean, you can pass and you can win games. You can pass and you can win games. Don't get me wrong. But in the end, if you're not out there running the ball, whether it's for big chunks of yards like Miller, I mean, Miller only had 10 carries, but 83 yards, that's a very effective day.
No, it was not. He had one run for 66 yards for a touchdown that he broke away.
Oh, yeah, that's right, huh?
He completely stopped Miller, and that is one of the big things, because I think Mike is one of the more complete guys in the league.
True, he couldn't run the ball at the end of the game.
No, not at all. He's a great passer, but typically he can run the ball pretty well with that Miller speed on the outside. But man, he was contained. Besides that one big run, he didn't do anything.
And that's the Colts D too, locking it down. Now we go over the receiving, not so much through the air. I mean, Hopkins 7 for 230 and 2 touchdowns, which.
Yeah, but other than Hopkins, it really wasn't anybody doing anything.
I mean, you had Hilton 5 for 100, his rookie tight end 2 touchdowns. Charles on those screen passes.
Game, I believe.
Yep. Charles with the screen passes.
You see Charles in that backfield,
and not, right there too. You look and Mike couldn't find the tight end, 2 for 33. Fuller only 1 for 9. That's his big play guy. I mean, Hopkins is a big play guy. Don't get me wrong, but Fuller's a burner, and 1 for 9.
Hopkins is such he's as much possession as he is speed.
Oh, he's complete. He's a complete receiver. He's a complete receiver.
But just a great game. Fantastic game.
Yeah, it was. It was fun to watch. It was a good show.
You already saw Andre Hall with the 3 picks. One was a pick 6, but other than that, Indy got some picks. Rookie corner played in. A lot of rookies. Rookie safety.
Te'o. Yeah.
You got a pick at the line. I think we all saw and heard about.
Good old-fashioned Madden interception right there.
Yeah, great game, guys.
So yeah, Indy won 37-36. Next game, 30-0 Tennessee over Jacksonville. And obviously this is you, Hubie. You continue to just keep doing what you're doing. Be efficient with Mariota. I mean, 16-24, 3 touchdowns. Rushing the ball, Henry had 16 for 70, which is actually a low day for him. That's one of your quieter days with Henry right there this season. But
yeah, he did a great job of stacking the box. That's the really only reason I won is because he stacked the box and I was able to get a bunch of one-on-one matchups. And Mariota was efficient today, and that's 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 always a good thing when you've got Derrick Henry and you got a quarterback that's efficient. But he had some tough breaks, man. He had a fumble that was kind of ridiculous, and then other than that, his offense just really wasn't a typical Mickey offense.
Well, I mean,
So
receiving
I got
wise, I
lucky
mean,
there.
you had 30 points, and so you see Mariota with 3 touchdowns. You might think someone had a huge day. I mean, I guess you'd say Mariota with the 3 TDs, but the yardage is lower. Warmack, your receiver, the rookie, 5 for 65 and a touchdown. Yeah, look at that. Your rookie tight end, your snipe right there off the practice squad, five
Yep.
for 47 and a touchdown. So, if you play Hubie, take notes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had a strip six with
All you need to do
Kevin
is stop like
Kept Dawson.
5 or 6 people, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for giving me the credit. The 5 or 6 people. I think it's Those people are Henry, and Derrick
yeah.
Henry.
Pressure wise, I mean, look, you got pressure. Sack and a half, a sack, a half sack. Let's see, interceptions. You're Baird, your second year guy. He was big last year. Here's a pick. I know he's had a few for you this year. So good game by
Yeah,
you.
Myers beast.
We'll talk about Mickey. He just won his week 6 matchup, so I think he's sitting at 3-3 as we speak. So moving on, we've got the Vikings at the Steelers, and I mean Vikings won 31-21. But I want to say,
It was a 14-point lead by James too. I don't know if anybody.
yeah,
watched that
James
game.
was out
It started
early.
off, it looked like James had it. But Vikings played it good. I mean, he didn't give up at all. I mean, his work. You got James throwing 4 picks, man. That's tough. Well, 5 because he put Landry Jones in again.
Yeah, we flip
So
over Windsor,
you
and
got
I
to
mean,
remember Vikings is down a guy too because Teddy Bridgewater's out. He got hurt, so he's rolling with Jeff Driscoll, who's not really the stat machine. So, I mean, that's a big win right there. And I think Adrian Peterson is out too. He's got nobody. But look at Le'Veon Bell, 14 rushes for 12 yards, man.
but I mean, you got to stay with Bell. I mean, that's 14. I mean, obviously you tried. I get it. It's 12 yards, but I mean that dude's insane. And well, we'll see James. I think he won his week 6 matchup, but I think no, he came. The guy, it looks like he came back. So I know he's had some injuries. We'll go to the rush receivers. Like Coates, 5 for $165 and a touchdown.
Yeah, Perriman was contained today, which was big. We've seen how good he's been doing. Treadwell's had a few big games.
Touchdowns. I mean, they're 4 for 60, but they're getting the touches. Let's see. We got the defense.
Pressure on both sides.
Yep, Shazier, Griffin, Barr. I mean, your bigger names. 3 picks for Waynes.
And he got hurt this game.
Yeah, he did. Now we'll have to go check to see. I think he's out for. I think we might have touched on that. He's out for 5 or 6 weeks or something. Dupree, Bernie, the rookie safety for James, which, he has good safety. So that was a pick. I mean, I'll be honest. I slid into the DMs after that pick because I knew he has a plethora of safeties. So, but he had a pick for him. Alexander, the second-year guy for Minnesota, pick. So
Dupree with the pick 6 too.
was it? Let's see.
Yep.
All right. Next game was a sim. They couldn't work out a time. Actually, their time was right. Basically, they could start playing about advance. So, I mean, we talked about this. Obviously, you guys were harping on it last season, and I understand. I'm with you. Last season took forever. That's because we let some guys play after what would have been advance, and so once you do that, how can I tell one team one thing and not do the same for another? You guys are all here putting in your time, so we're trying to just stay harder on that. I apologize. I know there was a mix-up at this. We'll get to that game up next, but we're trying to do our best, but ultimately we want to keep this thing moving. You guys don't want to play in a league that's going to take 2 months to play one season. So But that sim, Patriots won 42-28 over Miami, and I mean that's rich. That put him at 3-2, and I think he lost his week 6 matchup, so he's at 3-3 now after going 3-0. So Madden's a fickle beast. Next game up was Jets at the Bucks.
So this game is the one we were talking about, and now this game was really 17-3. And I watched the tape. Riggs, pause, man. I watched the tape, and it was pause. I love you, man. It was a mix up. It was a mixed communication, and pause got the loss on the sim, but he really did get the win, and it was a win that was it was a good win defensively for Paz. He was up 17-3 going into late in the fourth quarter. Riggs had a couple opportunities early in the game, but that defensive line was just getting to Jameis Winston, and it was mainly Williams. Williams had 2.5 sacks at least.
That defensive line is so good, but we talked about that. I mean, you know, you could. I mean, obviously you're going to weaken it if you move one, but he's got such good talent with even if you keep in two and mixing in another guy that you could use one of those guys and I think put some talent elsewhere for that team. But that's my personal feelings.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it is. I think watching that game was kind of the epitome of what I've seen from the Jets. I mean, he plays, he gets to the quarterback. His secondary is vulnerable. His offensive line, we'll talk about this later, he just got an offensive lineman for the Bucks, actually.
Yeah, so they played and traded at the same time.
He needed, he was there, so he figured he might as well stay.
Might as well stay, man.
And he needed an offensive lineman, but, man, he either needs a running back or he needs to commit to the run. You gotta run the ball, Pause. It is, you know what's happened when Stafford drops back. You see Stafford in any formation, you can almost guarantee, it's a pass. And you're too good of a player. He's too good of a coach to be predictable like that. And I think once he starts running the ball, man, I think because that AFC East, besides the Bills, I think it's vulnerable, man. I think Paz can make some damage in that league.
Well, I mean, except for when you hurt him with the sim loss, but. I'm just kidding. Listen, look, it was an accident by Hubie. He's new to being, able to do this stuff this season. So
I don't even know why they let me do it. I can't believe they trust me.
he didn't realize you guys were in game, which I didn't see it. I mean, I was in and out of the chat at that time of the evening, so I wasn't really keeping a good eye what was going on. I didn't see the game. Like I told Hubie, normally what I do. Well, yeah, exactly. And what I told him, what I do just for future is I usually try to look at the league schedule before I advance just to make sure if there's a game with no score but it shows it's played, to hit those guys up to see if they actually are in a game or look back in the chat if there's a game. But so, we apologize for the inconvenience. It sucks.
Schedule your games, especially if it's late. Especially if it's a late game close to advance.
But put it on and that helps too. Put it on the calendar. I mean, if it's on the calendar, at least you can look there easy too. Anyone can. And it helps. I mean, I've got my game with Chargers. We thought we might play tonight. Today it didn't work out, but I've got it on the calendar for tomorrow. So I had that ahead of time just because we knew our schedules were a little tricky. But anyways, after that.
The sim didn't work out for Paz. Riggs got Riggs is looking good in that NFC South now.
He's got a little help from his friend Hubie here, so
I can't believe of all people.
Let's see if he can make the most of it, or if he's just gonna piss it away. So
yeah, but positive, run the ball, man. You need a mixture there, buddy. Of course, it helps you when league commissioners aren't trying to screw you over.
This is true. It's always hard when the man's holding you down. We've got Rams at the Falcons, and Rams.
We were just praise and poop.
3-1, 33, and and it was 30-7 at halftime, 20-7 after the first. I mean, 5 turnovers to 1. Just. You don't need to go see any fancy stats. I mean, just look at that right there. It's never a good day.
Jared Goff, he played. He was very was proficient. He was very
Oh
proficient.
yeah, 11 to 19 for a touchdown.
And that's what
No
he's trying to
sacks,
do
0 sacks, which is
for
huge.
LA. Oh yeah, and that's huge. No turnovers. That is huge. You know, he built that offensive lineup, and that's what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
He ran the ball. He didn't run the ball effectively, but he ran the ball. 22 times.
Which it makes it harder for you to bring the pressure on Goff, and put those receivers under pressure. You go to Julio, 6 for 83. I mean, other than that, nothing from the Falcons. Tavon, 3 for 101 and a touchdown, 74. So there's your big play. I mean, and then you had a big play from Rashard Matthews, but I don't know if that was early or late. But defensively, obviously, we know, there was a few sacks. Donald with a sack. Let's see.
Yeah,
Barron had 2 picks. Joyner, yep. So, good win for the Rams. I know he's trying to build there. Obviously, he put some line pieces in play. It's
now,
filling up.
Is Barron? Did he move him back to safety? Is he
No,
safety back there getting those
I
picks?
think he's still a linebacker. I think it still said linebacker when I looked at it. Go back and look.
It says full safety when I'm looking at.
Full safety?
Full safety. There we go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man.
Maybe he did move it back because I know he had some. We could take a look after
he's a
this.
hybrid, so he's a full safety. He's a hybrid type.
Yeah.
We just said it right there.
Yeah, there you go.
GMFL.
Look at you creating things.
I'll go for you with that touchdown too. You had that scoop 6.
All right. Well, then we'll move on. We've got Baltimore at Cleveland.
Stay committed to the run, man.
Yes, and he has been. Look, he lost his Week 6 matchup, but I mean, I tuned in. He had 12 carries for $120. I mean, you've got Devontae Freeman, a top 10 back in this game. That offensive line, I have him in another league. That offensive line really isn't that bad. Okay, stay committed to the run. Too. Yeah, you've got some pieces. Stay committed to the run, and you got Julio. You've got a star wide receiver who will make plays for you. So, stay committed. And you'll be all right. You'll be all right. We'll talk about run. I mean, look at Ravens, 45-31, and the dude just runs the ball.
Not only runs the ball on one of the better defenses in our league.
Yeah, statistically. Statistically.
Defensive line. Huge. Not to mention scoring that with Joe Flacco going 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions.
Yeah, well, you got Carson over there. 2 for 2 and 3. So yeah, there's a lot of picks in this game too. A lot of picks this week, I think.
You look at these stats and you see Joe compared to Carson. You're like, you know what? I mean, the first thing I think is Cleveland probably won that game.
Mm-hmm.
4 picks from Joe Flacco.
Then you click to the next. You click to the next page and you see that his rookie went 18 for $191 and 3 touchdowns. And
you know what? I think the Ravens might have won this game.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, he happened to mix in Kenneth Dixon for a touchdown too. So. These are.
I think we lost Duke Johnson this game as well.
Yeah, I want to say I know Pro was in the chat about it. I want to say he's out for 5-6 weeks or something like that. We'll touch on injuries here at the end, but
he might be in the market looking for a running back too. Because I know there was a little talk about possible Coleman ended up in Cleveland. Coleman went somewhere else. We'll talk about that later.
Yep.
But if you got a spare running back, man, Cleveland is thirsty for one. I haven't seen too much about Westmoreland. He's a bigger back. Duke Johnson is not a bigger back. He's an elusive dude.
He is, but his trucking really isn't. I mean, it's not 85, I don't think, or nothing. But I want to say his trucking's like mid 70s or so. We can take a peek, but that's where I wish we could just pull him up right here real quick, click his player card. But
Corey Coleman doing what Corey Coleman does.
Yep. 7, 110, a touchdown. You look at Baltimore, Mike Wallace, 3 for $107, but that 80-yarder. And it could have been just straight play, but I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't some play action or something. When you run the ball that well, you're going to have those opportunities. Other than that, I mean, let's see. Nobody with any huge days. 4 for 46, 6 for 60.
Rookie safety, man. You guys in the AFC North with your safety sacks. I'm writing this stuff down right here.
Yeah, no joke. Safeties and cornerbacks, man. That's
Look at that. Man, that cornerback right there. There's AC Nielsen. We see him again. Two
yep,
picks.
2 picks. I think that puts him at 5 on the year. I want to say. I think he had
Yeah,
3.
4 for 5.
So obviously we'll check stats on the Sunday show, but then there's the rookie linebacker Ravens drafted in the first, Pennington, with the pick. T.J. Green, his snipe last season.
Pennington also had the touchdown, so I mean that's huge. And this game doesn't look close, but one of these touchdowns was one of those that put it away.
Definitely a big play somewhere in there. Probably by the way
was that Pro's first loss?
I think that was. I think that was his first.
This is his first loss.
Because was he 4-0 going in? Yeah, he was. He was 4-0. But we'll get on that, and we'll also talk standings on the Sunday show. But Pro did lose in week 6, which we'll touch on. So he's at 4-2 right now. All right, this is the we talked about this when it happened on Tuesday night.
Third quarter.
Yes, 20. It was 24-10 at half. Boss drove down. I think he got a touchdown late in that half to kind of to get a little bit more momentum, and then it just came out, and it was a pick six, a fumble, a pick six. I mean, Madden just switched course in a heartbeat, and I mean you can tell. Look, 49-14. That's not. I mean, Chiefs dude, which we'll talk about. Chiefs dude won this week. Week 6 versus Sweets, 30-29. So we're not talking about somebody who's a scrub by any means. You know what I mean? So to have a quarter like that,
it was close, man.
It was
to see it turn, and he played a great game. He should have won this game. It was effective. Boss was making mistakes early. He was hitting. Conley had some good. Kelsey had some good catches. Elliott was getting used. Elliott was burning him quite a bit. Elliott was getting used a lot. There were some plays. We'll talk about this after we go to the analysis. But Chiefs played a great game, man. It was fantastic. But it was such a bummer to see Madden do that kind of stuff to you.
It does, and I mean we talk about this, and this isn't. I know some of us complain what happens to us, but we've all had it happen for us and benefit us, and also we've had us, we've been on Chiefs end too, so it sucks when it happens. It's just one of those things you deal with. And
watching whoever watched the game, you noticed Boss, he uses the defensive line. He doesn't use our linebacker. I think typically most of us use our linebacker or safety. If you use our cornerback,
I use defensive line a little bit. I'll mix it in. I mean, but I try to use linebacker. Sometimes I use safety.
It is insane to see the pressure that Boss gets off the defensive line.
He is really good at it. Really quick sometimes.
It seems like as soon as the snap happens. So I mean, either you have a good defensive line, you stack them. You maybe bring the tight end to play, to block a little bit. Bring that running back in to block a little bit, or you got to get rid of that ball fast.
Definitely.
And it shows right there: 3.5 sacks with Crawford, 2 sacks with Lawrence.
And right now I'm just looking at Elliott. Obviously, 20 for 207 and 4 TDs. Niall Davis. I mean, he ran the ball well, 16, 89, 2 touchdowns. But that game got out of hand so fast that he couldn't keep forcing it to running. Davis.
And not only that, he's making up for that injured. Who is it? Is it Henry?
Henry, his speed back is injured. Yep.
Derrick Henry's little brother. Nobody knows that, but yeah. Actually, speed dude.
I think it's spelled like the kicker, like Henry, Henery, I think. But anyway. Yeah, Kelsey, 5 for 95. Conley, 5 for 138. I mean, Macklin, 3 for 54. These guys all had touchdowns. Zeke, 3 for 47 and a touchdown. Whitehead, Dez. I mean...
He gets involved in that passing game. Zeke is there, so don't take that... You think you're manned up with Zeke. You say, I can either blitz or cover somebody else. No, you gotta watch him.
But yeah, like you said, you look at the D line. Crawford 3.5, Lawrence 2, and Gregory 0.5. So there's 6 sacks with guys he has down on the line. Now, whereas every one of them him, I don't think so. But I wouldn't be surprised if 4 or 5 of them were. Bailey, Brinkley.
28 points off of defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
28 points off of defensive touchdowns.
Wilcox and Skandrick both had 2 picks. Eric Berry had 2 picks. I mean, and that's the thing. Chiefs forced turnovers, but the ones Cowboys, it was just boom, 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 and they were touchdowns too. That's what killed. Didn't even give.
There's a couple old dudes, Sean Lee and Skandrick, man.
Didn't even give them a chance to Chiefs at least to play D and maybe hold it to 3 or get a turnover himself. So obviously we talked about Boss's suspension. Clearly we told him if anything happens again, he's booted, never to return.
I think everybody supports us on that decision.
No, I mean, look, it is.
Just touch. I mean, we don't have to go over what happened. What happened. But we're all the same here, guys. If there's any problem whatsoever in a game that you see, either talk to one of us. And like I said before, if it's if you don't feel comfortable talking to me because you see the way I am in the chat sometimes, I completely understand that. Trick is always there. All the admins, everybody's there. James is great. Boss is great. Talk to one of them. If there's an issue, no matter who it is, even if it's on a mod himself, guys, we will handle it.
I mean, or if you don't like Hubie, talk to Mickey, because I don't think Mickey likes Hubie either, and he's an admin, so that'll work out well.
That's bro. I'll definitely lose a lot of guys there.
No, so anyway, well, we'll move on. Let's see, San Francisco, Arizona, that ended up being a sim. Ford, who was the Niners, switched over to the Broncos. So Mwasa didn't play. That was just a sim. He didn't want to play the computer. 42-35, San Francisco got the dub. So, look at that. Shout out Ford getting wins even when he wasn't the team. So, we move on to Washington and San Diego, and the Skins 45-10. Let's see, and I guess 17-3 at half. It wasn't out of hand, but then 31-10 after 3.
How many picks has that guy thrown? I mean, Taylor Pagan, he's struggling, man.
Well, and that's something we'll touch on all those stats, and we'll dig into your guys' rookies and how guys are going here, kind of at the midway point on Sunday.
He gets hit 6 times. I mean,
6 sacks, 4 picks. Cousins 2 picks, 2 sacks.
What about Matt Jones? 21 for 50. He's not having the MVP year that we saw last year.
No, and last year he put up yards. He was up near the top in yards. I mean, he had I think 13 or 14. Hey, what's up?
He put up touchdowns too.
What's up, boss? But it was those touchdowns. I think he was 14-2, and then Matt Jones had 20 touchdowns or something crazy. So, yeah, I mean, Madden loves their touchdowns when it comes to awards. So,
Melvin Gordon, good day though. Really
well, but you talked about with Miller, same thing with Gordon though. He had a run of 66, so otherwise you got 12 for 32. I mean, that's not even quite 3 yards a pop.
And it's tough because he was down. I mean,
well, yeah, you get down in the second half. Yeah, we've all been there. You just start winging it. Sometimes you don't need to, but you do it anyways because you mentally think you got to. Doxson, I mean, look, he's still 4 for 91 and a touchdown. He's hanging in there. He's putting up numbers. Deshaun had himself a touchdown. Nothing, no huge days through the air. Jordan Reed 4 for 50 and a touch. Go to the sacks. Compton 2, Smith 1.5, Kerrigan 1.5, Craven's a sack.
Yeah, good pressure. I mean, that'll win you a game right there. Redskins getting pressure.
Yep.
What does it do? Go to the next stat line, interceptions right there.
Yep, 4 picks. You get the pressure, you lead to those errant throws, you get those, 15-yard overthrows.
You also get 21 points off turnovers because he had a pick 6. He had a pick 6 with Breland, and it looks like he had a fumble return with Compton and Kerrigan.
Those are killers. I mean, it's free money.
Yeah.
We'll move on. We got TC and the Saints played Sobe and the Panthers. 2013 Saints victory.
Close game.
Yeah, 10-0 after the half, 13-6 after 3. So, Good game. Look, 350 yards through the air for TC with the Saints. I mean, you knew with the weapons he has, he's going to be winging it. 22 of 33. And then clearly, I mean, the Panthers, their strength is in their front seven. So, if you're going to attack, it's probably through the air.
Was in their front seven, so we'll talk about that later.
Well, exactly,
but,
exactly.
Not a lot of running, from either team. It's, and maybe that'll change because, like we said, we'll talk about that in a little bit. A trade for Carolina.
You slip
things to change, to potentially change that. But you knew what the Saints were going to do. You look at it, Landry, we said,
Cooks.
wow, what's Landry going to do when he gets on that team? 8 for 165. Seems like it's kind of the regular thing we see now. And then you got Cooks. Man, that's tough.
Yeah, Olsen had a good game.
76.
But yeah, I mean,
so you need a weapon. You do. I mean, you've got weapons in Carolina, but I think you need that outside weapon. Either Benjamin's a big guy, but he's not going to burn anybody.
No, and I mean, your speed guys aren't great receivers per se. Philly Brown, Ted Ginn, guys of that nature. Those guys, yeah, they're fast, but they're not guys who are going to make the big catches, the big plays.
Exactly.
When you really need them to. You go to sacks, Rankins, 3 sacks. Christian Jones, a sack. Cameron Jordan, a sack. Gillette, a sack. And you got the rookie who had a half sack for 5 tackles, a half sack, and a tackle for loss. That guy is a beast, Darden, that guy out of Stanford that Panthers drafted.
Yeah.
Which, when you got that guy, we'll talk about, obviously you got a star out there. We'll talk about a deal that was made here in a bit. So, you got guys like that. Certain positions, I guess, do become a little more expendable. But next game was a straight sim, and Seahawks, Supa over Packers, Big Mike, 27-3. Seattle got the victory. It's in Seattle. We'll move on. And then we had my game, which was Ford, his second game with the Broncos. I lost 24-19. If you guys tuned in, I had some chances at the end of the game. I haven't been playing well lately. I'm not focused. I'm not seeing the field well. Don't get me wrong. Ford's a beast. I didn't deserve to win that game. Okay. He had a great read. First play of the game. If I take my time and not focus and maybe pick my receiver, this might not happen. But he jumps a receiver from the safety spot and picks it and runs it in for a touchdown. So it was 7-0. Yeah, he does. He
plays good defense when he was San Francisco, and then you put him on the Broncos with an incredible defense.
And solid DBs. You got Harris, Talib, Roby, Stewart in the safety spot. So, it was a good game. It was 21-0 at one point. I managed to get a touchdown before the half. So, I fought back, but, like I said, I didn't deserve to win. 6 turnovers. He had 3. We'll move in. Carr, two TDs, but 6 picks. 11-26. It's not going to cut it. Lynch had 3 picks. But you go to the ground. Anderson had a good day. He ran the ball well. I lost. Is he even up there, or do they not show him? Am I missing him? Yeah, they don't even show him because he got injured. But I lost my rookie running back, the Gooch, after like 2 carries to a broken wrist. So, we go to the receivers, and Martavis, there he is, 7 for 230 and 2 touchdowns. And here's the thing. Me and Hubie were talking about this before the show, kind of looking at my stats. I don't purposely say, you know what, I'm going to throw to Martavis every play. I want to throw it.
Do not play man coverage. Do not play safety man. Do not play safety man.
I want to throw to Cooper a lot, but everyone seems to shade him more. So, I'm not telling any secrets. Obviously, you look at my stats, you'll see what happens. But Sanders, 5 for 84. Other than that, you kind of scroll through and no one receiving. Had a huge day defensively.
The biggest highlight stat is Bryant, 7 for 230. The next closest guy is 2 for 7.
Yeah, exactly. I just, I like I said, I can't focus lately. I'm in a rut, but these things happen. Irvin, Heaney, Mack all had a sack. See right there, 2 picks for Stewart. One of them was that great one. Now there was one Marshall had a pick, and that's one.
I
That's
thought he
one.
was
That's
wide open.
oh yeah,
I
Aguilar
thought
was
he was
coming
wide open.
across the middle. Ford plays great D, but that was one of those Madden wins that, I mean, in real life, I probably hit the guy for, a 30, 40-yard gain, but he pops back 5 yards and picks it off. So,
Came out of nowhere. I couldn't believe it.
but, other than that, I mean, like I said, it was a good game. I expect it from Ford. Where I've basically had good games with him for the most part, other than early on with the Niners that I had last season, or last Madden. So, we play week 17, and I imagine it to be a battle again. It's just the way it goes. And then we had the last game. We've got Philly, and since he's taken over, I want to say, I have to look. We have to look at his record. We'll get into that later, but he's probably around 500, but he's in every game. I mean, every game has been a close game.
Not to mention with that team, there's not a lot of weapons on that team, and then Puba, I think most of us in this league have played against Puba at least once or twice now, and he's coming off wins against Dallas. He's coming off wins against Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and to come in and see, and we were kind of wondering, because we said this, Eagles are a tough sell because of the division they are in, because that is probably the toughest division we have. I see the NFC East on my schedule. I'm like, oh no, that's tough. But to see what this guy has been able to do with Philadelphia, man, watch out when he builds that team up.
Wentz had a pretty good day, 17 to 25, 2 TDs, a pick, running the ball. I mean, he's been running it well, 13 for 49. He only had he's putting the run game. Beckham 5 for 95. Other than that, I mean, it's a defensive battle. Jakeem Grant though, that's. I want to say Puba had a chance to he was in range to at least get an easy field goal. I think he threw a pick down in the red zone. Or no, you know what? I think Moats fumbled it. Yeah, Moats fumbled it. And Eagles recovered. He was down 10-7, and clearly he hit Grant with 83-yard bomb of some sort. So 44-yard, 44 run after catch. So he probably got him on a deep.
My guys get out of Tennessee and they flourish.
Yeah, man, you were holding them down.
If you guys want to trade, you guys want some stars. Apparently, Tennessee's got them, man. They're doing.
Boss wants that party chat. Give me just a second here. Yeah, man, I don't want to play this. It's all right. It's my chat. I'll just boot him out. Okay, we're back.
Eagles had a great game, though. I mean, that's
like no real pressure, but what's up, boss? Are you in here? Not yet. So 2 picks for Hicks, 1 for Kendricks, 1 for Jenkins. I mean, linebackers right there. Kendricks 1, Hicks couple. So let's see. Back out of here. So those. Well, you know what? Let's go back. There's boss. What's up, boss?
A couple week 6 games played so far. I love the schedule we're on right now. Everybody's flying.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Keep it up, man. You guys are doing. We're doing a good job. I mean, we've had games kind of right up, obviously near advance, but like I said, we're trying to keep on our hard schedule, man. We want to keep going. You guys would rather end up getting one game simmed than wait a month and a half, 2 months just to get through one season. So, let's try to get our games played as fast as we can, and we can all get to what we love, which is off season, right?
Yeah, especially for you.
Yeah, that's my favorite time of year, man.
That's what you got to look forward to,
Yeah, I'm a scrub at Madden, bro. I just want to draft good. At least I feel like I'm winning at something.
Yeah, boss, what's up, man?
Boss, you out there? It says you joined, homie. Yeah, we can hear you now. There we go.
Okay, I was on mute. Sorry.
Ah.
How's Des Bryant doing on his vacation?
This Brian's good, man. I mean,
Is
He's in the Bahamas right now.
it, it's gonna be hard not having him against the Seahawks. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's a tough matchup to lose him against.
yeah. Hopefully Zeke can pull it off. So, should be good.
Oh, there you go. Well, we'll run through what Week 6 games have played. Dustin with the Colts. I mean, struggled last year with the Panthers. He's 4-2 right now, I believe. He beat Rich, who 27-7. We move on. Riggs, with a little help from his friend Hubie, I think is now at 4-2, with a 17-12 from Atlanta. So there's obviously, if you do make the playoffs, Riggs, just know no one will count it. There will be an asterisk beside it forever and ever.
My bank account.
So you can write that. You can write that on the whiteboard in Tampa that we're slandering you.
My PayPal will be open.
hit you on your Venmo.
AFC South doing work, man. There we go.
Mickey, I think he's back at 3-3 now, with a 20-6 win over Cincinnati. Here was really, right, and this is what we talked about with that game against Boss. I mean, this isn't a guy who's a bad player. He just beat Sweets, the NFC representative in the Super Bowl, 30-29. So,
and our number one power ranked guy for quite a while now. He's been holding it down. I mean, he's not going to drop a whole lot because we know the Chiefs can ball out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But great game with the quarterback he's using. I mean,
at Keenum, or did he roll Bray that game?
I think he went with Bray. I'm pretty sure I saw Bray.
Let's just go take a quick peek. Yep, Bray, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So, and it looks like he slung it 40 some times. So that's a good game with him. Hubie 6-0, 28-7 win over Arizona. He just keeps underselling his team and then going out and kicking people's butts. So don't take your eyes off him there, AFC. Niners, we got the new guy, Dubs.
Welcome to the league, man.
Welcome.
Up,
check the show. We're glad you're here.
And we were just talking about what Philadelphia is, how good he is competitive in that division, and then we see another guy come in a tough division, NFC West, come out here and get a good win. And I think they've got a good record. I'm pretty sure San Francisco's got a pretty decent record right now. No thanks to Ford.
I mean, no thanks to Ford. Yeah, I mean 20-17, and like I said though, there's Eagles again. I mean he's close in every game. So get a little more talent around him and watch out. James with the big win, and there's Pro dropping now to 4-2 after the 4-0 start with a 38-20 loss to Pittsburgh. So
I mean the game was already pretty much out of hand, but there's some weird stuff happening.
As I say, I heard you guys said there's some wacky stuff, and that's what I mean. Madden, man. I mean, I like the game overall, but I feel like there's a lot weirder stuff that happens this year than in the previous year.
And then we got the Bears.
Which
picking up a good win.
Yep, and I think he's now at 2-3 because he was on a bye last week. So, and that NFC North is wide open. There's no one running away with that. So that'll be a battle all year. But that's
real quick because
go ahead.
Our show won't be till. Well, I guess we'll have our show in the middle of the week. So I guess
Well, we don't advance till Friday. Right, so we'll actually, we'll be in week 7 during our show. Yeah, so we can touch on week 6. We'll go over what week 7 games are up. Let's see. We wanted to go through trades.
Yeah, we got I got the trades pulled up right here. And we already talked about Carolina. What do they need to do? They need to run the ball a little bit. And what did they do? They went out and they made a big trade. And Poop.
Yeah, it's not posted yet because they haven't officially accepted it on the PlayStation, but you can go ahead and break it down for the peeps.
We talked about this either a show or 2 ago, and Poop was listening because as soon as the show was over, Tevin Coleman went on the block like that.
Yep.
So he was getting offers. I know Cleveland was interested, but there's an initial trade that ended up getting revised. And man, I think both teams benefited. But Poop, man, I'm proud of you, man. The trades you've done this year, I love it, man. He's sending Coleman and a third-round pick. Now, you don't see this too often in the division. To the Carolina Panthers for Short, one of the best defensive tackles.
Kawan Short.
I think I'd say one of the better defensive tackles in the game. And he's on a one-year deal. He's on the franchise tag.
And he's gonna. And I mean, you can ask Dustin because he couldn't sign him last year. I mean, he wanted a boatload of money. So I know Poop's a little tighter with the cap because he's got Matt Ryan taking up $20+ million of it, and he just re-signed Trufant. So we'll see. I mean, he could probably get him re-signed, but you just never know.
It's going to be hard to keep him, though. It's going to be hard to keep him. Like, Short, you need to at least pay him around 85 mil.
You just franchise tag him.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we look at here's the problem though when you were talking about signing players is we can go online and look at salaries and it'll show us what's available. But what happens is when you go to assign players, it also takes into account the players you haven't re-signed and all that. So, you know, it may only show has let's say $8 million in cap, but when he goes to re-sign guys, he might have $24 billion in cap to re-sign that guy.
Do you have Short pulled up right now?
I don't. I can switch over to him real quick.
He is a beast. He's
got
that 93 block shit, power moves. You know, he's got the acceleration to get off the line. He's even got finesse move. You know, decent strength. He's 28 years old. He might, you know, even if he loses, you know, a couple points anywhere, he's still going to be 91, 92 overall.
Well, and that's the thing too. You're playing with someone who's going to regress slightly. I mean, you know, maybe he loses a couple in strength, but he's still going to be a beast. I mean, right now you're getting, as Madden ranks it, he's the number 4 ranked DT in the league. So.
Right, but what do? You go and you look at the defense. So you plug him in that defensive line that he's got. And he's got Derek Morgan, who's leading the league in sacks.
Grady Jarrett, who's another good young defensive tackle. You got Vic Beasley, who unfortunately though he just lost Beasley for some time in his Week 6 game. But.
Did he?
He did. He lost him, I think, to.
I would have Vic Beasley at defensive end.
You know, he has good talent, but I think he's better used. I have him in another league. I mean, personally, the way I use him is I have him at left outside backer, so I can bring him, bring pressure with him. But he's got decent zones, so you can drop him back, and he can make some plays for you there too.
Yeah, but great. I mean, you've got Freeman. You don't need Coleman and Freeman. And
no,
look at Coleman's stats. Coleman. Brings a lot, you know, 93 speed, 90 acceleration. He's young. He's still pretty young. He's decent carry. He can truck. He's got the power. He's got the finesse moves. So you know he's a good back, and that's, you know, Panthers. Even though Panthers, which is a little confusing to me, have a decent running back in Walters. We were looking at this the other night.
He just drafted in the 2nd round too, so
he wanted to go out and he wanted, you know, to get rid of. And to be honest with you, he probably knew he wasn't going to be able to re-sign Short. So why not go get something you need?
Yeah, well, that Panthers cap's even tighter than that Falcons cap. So.
Yeah, to get a running back though, I think we all kind of questioned it. But I mean, hey man, if the guy knows what he wants, go out and get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to trades. Granted, we don't want to, you know, we're not going to let you trade Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman for you know, some 60 overall corner and a 4th round pick, but. At the same time, I mean, at a certain point,
you know, 2016 trade.
at the same time, I mean, you know, we want to give you guys leeway. It's your team. We know, you know, a ton of you guys we've known from 16. You guys will stick around. You're not going to come in here and make crazy trades and then leave the next day. So, you know, obviously, if you have a vision, even if we don't always agree with maybe what you're trading personally, that's not our job. It's just to make sure that you wouldn't screw the team royally and then leave. So.
Right. So you got a good running back. You got a good running back going to Carolina. You got, you know, he's also getting a 3rd round pick. He's going to lose. You know, you look at it like he's losing Short. He was probably going to lose Short. Let's be honest. But Poop, if he re-signs Short, even if he doesn't re-sign him, I think he's got a good shot at winning, or at least competing, if not winning that division this year.
Yeah.
But Poop, I love the trades you're doing this year, buddy.
He's doing good. He's doing good.
Has been fantastic, and the guys that you've picked up are doing great. Keep it up.
We'll move on. We've got Jets and the Bucks, and the Jets send Sharon Peak and a 3rd round pick to the or the Jets, yeah, sent it to the Bucks for Ali Marpet, the right guard. Which, I mean, if you look at the players, Peak's I think about a 66 overall, and Marpet's what, like 82 or 84 or something. So these are guys.
I mean, it's kind of an under the radar. He kept saying Riggs liked this guy. He liked Peak, and he talked about that before. He's got, and I think we kind of mentioned this. Evans on the outside is great. He's got the kid from Bama. Roseman in the slot. I'm assuming who's been killing it. He's really been mopping up this year. But I think he really likes Peak, and Peak has got potential. He's got speed. He's a burner. He might not have the best catching statistics, but he's still young. You can boost those up pretty easily. And I think we're gonna see Peak with some stats, man. I think we're just gonna incorporate him.
And he's talking about drafting offensive line, so that's what he wants to do. And if you like a guy, I mean, look, Peak 93 speed, 94 excel, 6'2", so his jumping's 86, so it's not great. His catching, he's all right, but if he has a vision for it, hey, roll with it, Riggs. Meanwhile, you look at Jets, and when we talk about running the ball, you just traded for a guy who his strength is 88, his run block is 89, and his pass block 74. So I would recommend you run the ball behind that guy.
that quick div.
Yeah. I mean, and he's 24 years old, so you've got a guy that he's plugged in for the rest of his CFM. I mean, you've got yourself a solid right guard. To give up a third round pick,
a third round pick,
and basically a receiver, honestly, he could pick up, next season in free agency or in the draft late in the rounds, probably.
Yeah,
so
I like what he did. Yeah, I think it was a good move. No matter where you put him at, probably I'm assuming left guard.
Yeah, that or you move the other, but either way, I mean, you've got a young guard you're plugging in.
Yeah, it was definitely a good move because we've harped on this for the last I think 3 shows. Carlos Williams, he's having a rough year.
And then
when you can see what's coming, it's easy to play defense. So I like it. I think it was a great trade for the Jets.
Exactly. And then our last trade, I mean, nothing flashy. Falcons sent me a 4th round pick. I sent him Reggie Nelson, which Nelson's 34. I mean, this could be his last season. He could play another, even with regression. I mean, we can go take a look. Nelson's not a bad player. I just moved Sean Smith.
I think the surprise for all of us is that the Falcons and the Raiders made a trade together.
Oh, it's pretty weird that me and Poop.
It's
pretty random that me and Poop made a deal. I mean, we usually don't see eye to eye on any of that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, what's this year? 8th trade together in the last?
I don't know. We work it out. Well, he had Ricardo Allen, but he lost him. I don't know if he just didn't get a chance to re-sign him because I think Poop, of course, managed to miss the 3 days of re-signing that we've had in the whole year. So, Poop, sign your guys in season so you don't miss the 24-hour period, and then they all get released to free agency.
That's a bold strategy.
So, Nelson, he's 87 speed, 89 excel. I mean, even if he stays a year, that's 85, 87. His zone's 84. His man's 75. And I got him. He's got aggressive clutch, high motor. I mean, he's a good player. He's just old. And, 4th round pick. I mean, it's, I can get a decent player there, but it's not like he's giving me a first. So I get what I want, which is somewhere to get some depth later. And, he's got a guy that maybe can make some plays for him this season. And who knows, maybe next year. So.
Yep.
It's not really, it's not. I don't think it's really a big risk for either one of us. You know what I mean? So.
No. Yeah.
What else? We want to touch on injuries. Let's see. Do you have any of the ones you know? Let's see. We'll just kind of scroll through. Let me get up to the top. Bears. No. Bengals. We talked about that. Oh, Bills just lost Marquise Goodwin too for 3 weeks. So now he's lost Watkins and his speedster Goodwin.
Yeah, we touched that last time. He was
did we?
last time.
Let's see.
So I said he is that's what we want to hit up. He is looking for wide receivers. If you have a wide receiver, trade deadline. We all know it's coming up. We're watching it. You know, Bills. I think he's in the chat every single day. Who's got a wide receiver? Who's got a wide receiver? Guys, if you have a wide receiver, talk to the Bills.
Yep, definitely. Browns. This must have happened in that game or the game before. But Duke Johnson's out 4 weeks. Josh Gordon's out 7 weeks. Barnridge is out 6 weeks. I mean, those are playmakers. Barnridge is a little slower, but his catching stats and his route running.
I'm start calling you pro pretty soon. Barnridge is a good guy. You know, Barnridge is he's a solid. He's one of those guys. He's a safety net, man.
He is. He's a good tight end.
Safety nets.
So
and,
and that's on top of losing
Josh
Gooden.
Gordon. That's tough.
Let's see. We already knew about Quant.
I think he's looking for he's still looking for a running back, I believe. I think I've seen pro.
Yep. I mean, talk to him if you have a back maybe to move. You never know. He might be interested. So, Cardinals lost Michael Floyd for 7 weeks. Was that against you?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So there's a loss on his wide receiver core. Let's see. Ooh, Chiefs lost Eric Berry for basically the season now, 12 weeks.
Oh man, partial.
And his other safety, Ron Parker, he lost for 4 weeks. So there's your 2 starting safeties are gone.
So how about this? Chiefs have a plethora of wide receivers, of speed guys. We know that. And you know who's got a bunch of safeties who keeps telling us they have safeties? The Buffalo Bills. Boom, I just did it right there. There's a trade.
Yeah. Look at you. Dustin lost Dwayne Allen for the Colts 5 weeks.
Good hit. I mean, that sucks, man. That's tough.
Let's see.
Cowboys, no injuries? Come on. Somebody, okay.
Eagles, nothing. I mean, he lost Grant. We're talking really big injuries. You got Falcons. He lost Beasley for 8 weeks, broken wrists.
Hey, Grant's big, man. We've seen what Grant can do on that team. So that's
that one catch. He's.
Beasley's tough. Beasley hurts.
That's tough. I mean, that's Eric Reed's out for the season, 28 weeks. Woo, torn pectoral.
28 weeks.
That's crazy.
The next Madden comes out.
Let's see. We know about some of these others. Scrolling through.
Is this just me, or do the injuries seem like they're getting a little bit more severe?
It's just you because you actually had an injury this year. You know, you kept telling us how you've been kissed by the injury, as the bug or whatever. But finally, you lost Feeney, the love of your life. So.
Hey man, a solid player right there.
Texans, they lost Will Fuller for 7 weeks to a broken collarbone, so there's his speedster. We talked about you losing Feeney for 12 weeks. Trey Waynes, 4 weeks on top of already having Bridgewater and AP out, so.
Yeah, Vikings are hurting right now.
Some big injuries.
You won a game.
Yeah, hey man, you gotta get them dubs.
Yeah, so hey, Bills. You and Chiefs need to talk, man. You guys need to
talk.
Trade week. Deadline's coming up.
Well, boss, you're in here. Is there anything you want to hit on?
Nope. Except that Sweets is going down this year. That's all I wanted to say.
That's all you wanted in here for, to call out Sweets, huh? All right, well, Sweets, you hear that? Boss said anytime, any place you want to catch those hands. I mean, he's all about it right now, so.
We're going to have to start screening our callers.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get suspended again.
He told me he just wanted to talk about stadium proposals. Yeah, well, it's been a good year so far. Granted, we're about at the quarter point. Not quarter, we're about a third of the way through, really, maybe a little further. Obviously, Sunday we'll have, we're going to be, week 7. So we'll probably give out kind of where we see some mid-season awards, maybe some rookie awards, things of that nature. We'll go through your teams. I mean, that's what you guys want to see. It's what we're all in here for. No one wants to hear about just one team. So other than that,
power rankings up.
We'll have a power rankings. We'll give you guys some bulletin board material. Other than that,
we talked about it. We'll be a couple days away from the trade deadline, guys. If you have anybody on the block that you want to get
hit us up. Let us know.
Let one of us know. I mean, we saw it. We're willing to try to put your name out there, even if you don't want it out there. Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything, let us know.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, just keep playing your games, and we'll try to obviously have the show around 10:30 a.m. Eastern, just like last time. I mean, it works good. It's obviously before all the games. So other than that, man, you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you all on Sunday.
Shout out to the Jets. You're a good dude.